And here we go. I'm going to draw my triangle. I'm going to call it A, B, and C. What do I label for angle A? 85 degrees. What do I get to label for B? 32 degrees. What else can I label? Side B is 20. We're going to solve the triangle. We're going to find the rest of the pieces that are missing. What is the easiest thing to find right now? Find angle C. How do I find angle C? Very good. So I turn my calculator on, I go 180, and I go minus 85 minus 32, and I get 63 degrees. We all good there? So now I have both side A and side C to find. Do you have an angle and its opposite side? Yep. Before I drew in the blue, look at the red. I have two angles. Am I angle side angle or angle angle side? Which one am I given? Angle angle side. Everybody agreed? And if you look at the decision tree that I gave to you, and you want to be able to look at this because this is what you get on the test. And this is, I take a lot of input from students over the years. They feel that this is one of the most helpful pieces of notes that they ever received from math. And so let's just look at it. Angle, angle, side. It says that there's just one solution, use the law of sines. That's one of the best things that I can see. Because when we get donkey situation here, we end up with all sorts of stuff going on, and it's tough to figure out. So when you see that, you say, yay, Mr. Gens is giving me a problem that I can easily solve. We all good? So let's solve it. Let's do the easy one right now. Sine of what? Sine of 32. Why'd you choose 32? Because it has the opposite side. Sine of 32 over 20. Good. So I have sine of 32 over 20. I have an angle and its opposite side is equal to sine of 85 over, what's the side opposite 85? Over A. I cross multiply. When we cross multiply, we get A sine of 32 is equal to 20 sine of 85. What am I trying to solve for? How do I solve for A? So A is equal to 20 sine of 85 divided by sine of 32. I take out my calculator and I go 20 sine of 85. Make sure that if you're using a calculator like this, people all the time, people make mistakes going through this process. So make sure your calculator comes up with the same thing. You gotta be careful with the work. Divided by sine of 32. Notice how I close my parentheses. I press enter, and my calculator is in radians, I bet. Mode. I just got done with calculus. We like to work with radians. I go back to degrees. So if I try that again, same entry, I get 37.60. We'll go to the nearest 100. Do you guys get 37.602? Can somebody confirm that? Okay. So 37.60. I have one thing left to solve for. I need side C. True or false? I can use the Pythagorean theorem. False. Why? Because it's not a right triangle. So how do you think I'll find letter C? Sine of 32 over 20 is equal to sine of what? 63 over C. I cross multiply. C sine of 32 is equal to 20 sine of 63. What would I do to solve that then? divide by sine of 32. So I'm going to take my calculator, 20 sine of 63 divided by sine of 32. And I get 33.63. Not too bad, huh? Ooh, sorry about that. In the future, I'll make papers with more rooms. I didn't ask for feedback, I said I've gathered feedback over the years, but thank you. I'll make that note that in future times I will make sure that I leave more space. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I want you to do problems 1, 3, and 5. You don't need to do 7 and 9. You can cross those off. Just work on the left-hand side. In about 8 minutes, I'm going to show you how to do the ones on the right-hand side. Okay? The ones on the right-hand side are just slightly different. We don't have side angle side today, but they are going to be just slightly different. Please look at example number 2 over here. Let's draw out the triangle. I have A, B, and C. A is 40 degrees. Do I know what this side is? This is 7. It's side C. It's across from angle C. Do I know what this side is? 10. Do I know what this side is? Nope. So I'll label 40 degrees. I'll label 7 for side C, and I'll label 10 for side A. So I've got two sides and an angle. So this is either side angle side or it's side side angle. Which one is it? Side side angle. Because look, I have two sides, but I don't have this angle right here, do I? If I had that angle, then it would be a different story. But so this is a side side angle. This is very important. This is the very first step to following your decision tree. So that's what I'll call this thing. I'll call it a decision tree. You want to look at that, and what you do is we're going to start following it accordingly. I follow this side side angle piece right here because this decision tree tells you what to do in every situation, but you have to be able to learn to read it. So I go to side side angle, and it comes down here. I have to choose: do I go to the left or do I go to the right? Look at what it says. It says side opposite the angle is shorter than the other given side, and side opposite the angle is longer than the other given side. Side opposite the angle is longer or shorter than the other given side? Longer. So you can see that because I end up with that, I'm going to head here. It says one solution, use the law of sines. Happy face. That's good. That's good news for us. So we go ahead and set it up. So let's set this guy up. Sine of what? 40 over 10 is equal to sine of C over. So this time we're trying to find an angle, aren't we? That's a little bit different. If I want to solve for sine of C, I can just multiply both sides by 7. So I get 7 sine of 40 over 10 is equal to the sine of C. So I'm going to figure out what that is right there. I take out my calculator. I turn it on. And I go 7 sine of 40. I use my parenthesis. And I divide by 10. And I come up with a decimal, 0.44995. Let's see. Does anybody remember what I do to find angle C then on my calculator? I do inverse. Exactly. Do you see how we've taught you those pieces that you're going to use? I do second sine inverse of 0.44995. And I get 26.74. Now, to make my point, suppose JGel said, well, I'm going to do sine inverse of just 0.45. You get 26.74 if if but that's because I did the 995. Suppose we did this. Sine inverse of 0.44, okay, and so we're just 100th different, right? Look what you come up with, 26.1. So it does carry it off. Now, I'll be honest, I will do my best to try to find your work and make sure your work is accurate, even if your decimals are a little bit off. I'm not going to call them wrong. I just want to let you know the standard, without a doubt, in every math class is that you go to 4 decimal places when you're finding an angle. That's the minimum. So, okay. All right, what can I now find? What's easy to find? Yep, angle B. 180 minus 40 minus 26.74. And I get 113.26. Now what do I find? B. What's the equation I set up to find B? Sine of what? Yeah, we'll use 40 over 10 is equal to sine of 113.26 divided by what? B. Now, at some time, you guys are going to kind of discover a little bit of a pattern. Hopefully, you're starting to that when you cross multiply, you can kind of see how it's going to work out. But here I get 10 sine of 113.26 is equal to B sine of 40. So if I want to solve for B, what do I have to do? Divide by sine of 40. So 10 sine 113.26. Use my parenthesis. Divided by sine of 40. And I get 14.29. Yesterday, we did talk about a way to check our answers to see if they're reasonable. Do you remember how we do that? Biggest angle matches to biggest side. Smallest angle matches to small side. At least my answers are reasonable. So I had to do problems 1, 3, and 5. You do 2, 4, and 6. Okay, and that should be able to take care of your needs for this first one here. Okay. Yep. The last 4 problems you could cross off.